Rich, let me know when you're on and I'll get rid of my splash screen here.
Okay, give me about another minute or so here.
Yep. I just got the live stream going.
Cue the intro music. Oh, we don't have that.
Y'all will pay me not to sing. Just gonna put it. Yeah. You want to clear out the meeting.
What forms of payment do you take?
Crypto.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight?
So far, so good.
Anybody been in the
Hanging
markets
in
today?
there.
Anybody been in the markets today, or it's been kind of high? I have not. I've been putting together some bids and whatnot for my contracting company, so I've not been looking at very much today. So
Markets for me were taking, they weren't giving.
Mama said there'd be days like that, right?
Hey, there's days like that, you know. So tomorrow will be better.
All right. All right, just for the clarification, this is my journey into the crypto space. I'm not giving any financial advice. And what I'm doing with my money, and I am okay if I lose it. Okay if it goes away. So if you do take any advice or take any recommendations and it doesn't pan out, that's on you. I think that's enough for the legal lingo for the time being. So I've been thinking of the last week or so about some bigger goals that I've wanted to do and something to shoot for. And one thing that I've kind of been coming up with is I want to make $200 a day passively, whether it's through trading, crypto, something that's not that is non-contracting and not my typical 8 to 5. I am not retired yet. I'm not independently wealthy, so I'm just a guy just still trying to make it on things. So I've got a goal to make $200 a day, which equates out to about $600 or $6,000 a month, and that's my first goal. And once I get to that, obviously it's gonna grow and get bigger from there. But that's a good comfortable start that I can see that's achievable for myself. And the way that I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna get involved in some crypto projects that are passive income. I'm not just investing in coins or in tokens, hoping that they'll go up, or I'm not going to trade Bitcoin or Ethereum in the markets. I'm going to invest in projects for cash flow. And on March 3rd or 4th, I invested in the Drip Network. And it is a deflationary what's escaping me now. It's a deflationary token that pays out 1% a day. And I put $1,000 into this when I started. And this is my first day when I got into it on March 4th. You see here, my deposit was 1,031. This was my first claiming. You have an opportunity to claim or hydrate what you have, and obviously you're hydrating, you're recompounding what you have. So that was that $10.26 was my first 1 day of interest on that. So there are a ton of videos on the Drip Network that will tell you how to maximize your claiming, your hydrating, make it more beneficial for you. It was a challenging week for me, and to keep my emotions on the sideline because drip went through a bit of a crash. I bought at $82 a token, and I got 13 tokens out of it, and it proceeded to go down to $41 as of yesterday. And I basically swore off that I would was not going to add any more to it. I was going to let my $1,000 ride, and whatever happened happened. And there was all kinds of rumors as I was getting into the YouTube space, trying to figure out what was going on with drip and stuff. There was all kinds of rumors, and last night there was an announcement that that the drip network and PancakeSwap have a partnership, and it has since bounced, and it's about, I think it's roughly about $70 a token now, which was a took my emotions on a little bit of a roller coaster ride, because I didn't know if I got into it, it just dove, and there were people that were calling for rug pulls and that it was going to go to nothing and it was going to just crash and burn. Part of me was kind of like thinking about that. The other part was, do I buy more since the price is low? That's what some people were doing. I kind of kept my finger off the mouse, except for I kept on hydrating. So I kept on putting all the profits back into drip, and to date I have made about $91.76 is what I've rehydrated into drip. So it's roughly the 1%. We had the 3 or 4 or 5 days that were where the price was dropping, and it was giving me 1% of the price that it was. So if you look at, I didn't take a snapshot of that. Maybe I did. You take a look at
What is that drip balance?
the
The 0.00000 go down right there.
right there.
Yeah.
That's how many you're going to deposit. How many you're going to deposit. So that's when you deposit it. You can, if I were going to deposit, so I've got right now my you buy drip with BNB, which is part of the Binance Smart Chain. I would buy it with this. I would try to max it out, and that would auto populate for that. I don't know if I can.
So is there, once you deposit in, is there a minimum holding time?
So when you deposit your money in, it's burned. It gets part of the liquidity pool, and then you get it out with the 1% if you want. So I'm going to show you this right here. This is where it was on 3 days ago. You can see it was at $633.
Yeah.
Was the drip price, and I was part of me was scared and part of me wanted to buy more. So to date, I've made $91 with it, and I've recompounded it, and I started out with 13.082, and I am, as of this morning, I'm about 14.5. So I feel pretty decent about this right now. A lot of this stuff in the crypto space, the projects and the node projects are all done by gamers, so they kind of have some weird names to them. And the guy that started Drip Up, his name is Forex Shark, which he's a Forex trader. So that's kind of his handle, Forex Shark. So, and they have all kinds of, I haven't played a whole lot, but they've got a whole lot of calculators and stuff with these. Doug, you might go crazy over this. But it tells you if you hydrate, you can hydrate for 19. How many days is this?
I think the days is in D. Column D is your day.
Column D is your, okay.
D-
Well, that's okay.
So it's every week.
Every week, yes, yes. So if you hydrate for, get out of there.
So that'd be one coin.
So you could hydrate for 37 weeks. So you get into November 11th, and you would be, according to this calculator and the way they have it set up, you could start taking out on the 38th week, and you'd be pulling out $155 a day is what you'd be doing. $150 dollars a day. And that would
Nice.
be, and so drip has a, it will pay you, there's a max on drip. So, and it's coming up on 1 year, on its 1 year anniversary. So there are people that have been in since inception, and there are people that are getting forced out of drip because they have you can only be in it for 365 days if you do not hydrate or compound. So you can elongate everything if you keep on compounding, which, if you keep on compounding, you can, if you follow this method and drip does not crash or does not, which it, nothing's for sure, but you could get to where you'd be making upwards of $4,000 a day at some point. And that's with my $1,000 investment. Obviously, if you invested more in it, that number would go up, but you can get to where you'd be maxed out at, not maxed out, you can see down here, you'd be into, and I have not played with this very much at all. So, so in 2025, you could be pulling in $3,000 a day, which is not too shabby for a $1,000 investment if you followed this map of hydrating and claiming and whatnot.
So is the hydration a manual process, or can you just set it up to automatically hydrate?
It is a manual process. You can see here, I've got my MetaMask account here, which you have to pay some gas fees to hydrate and also to claim as well. So there's some gas fees you have to pay with that. A couple weeks ago, or maybe last month, I did a session on the different kinds of wallets and whatnot. I might redo that again or do that again. I ordered what they call a ledger wallet, which is a cold wallet, just because of the honestly, I got a little freaked out when Canada decided to lock up the truckers' bank accounts because they didn't agree with what the truckers were trying to do. So I'm trying to decouple myself from any big bank that could do that or would do that, and trying to make sure that I have the safest way of protecting my crypto and make sure it can't be hacked, or it's very hard to be hacked if that does happen. So Ledger is what they call a cold wallet.
Yeah.
And I've got my Ledger wallet connected to my MetaMask wallet. So if I hydrate, I've got to have my my Ledger wallet in front of me, and I've got to approve the transaction through my Ledger physically. And that's kind of the way I want it. So nobody could do anything about it or with it. They couldn't withdraw or anything else. So so answer your question is, you have to do it manually for that aspect of it. And I kind of like that, to be honest with you. It kind of keeps you involved and knows what you're doing with it.
So obviously there, with the fee to reinvest your drip, there's a kind of a sweet spot. between reinvesting your drip and getting that additional 1% compounding on what you just dripped in, right?
Right. Some of the guys, I was listening to a guy this morning because everything was kind of it was starting to shoot back up this morning pretty good, and the one of the guys that has been in it since the inception is he had $10,000 that he was claiming, or not claiming, he was hydrating, and he's pulling out about $17,000 a day after a year. Now, obviously, he put in more than $1,000 on that, so let's see if I can get my wallet here. The Ledger Live is hooks up with your wallet, and I'm actually enter my passcode in now, and it will show you what gas fees cost. Should be able to do some activity here. So today it cost me 67 cents to do to rehydrate with gas fees. That's what it's been about.
So that varies.
It varies, yes, and there are times when it's a little bit more, like there's a lot of activity on the blockchain, so it your gas fees can go up quite a bit. So and it'll show you here what estimated gas fee is.
Yeah.
0.02 BNB, which you can convert and whatnot and everything. So
okay,
I have been pleasantly, not pleasantly, I've been happy with the turnout that Trip has done. It's done kind of what I expected. I didn't really expect the dip to happen last week. If I'd have known that, I would have waited another week and bought it at $600 a token. Not 600, $400 a token. $40 a token. I'm tongue-tied tonight. So, but it's just like the market. We can't, we don't know what's going to lay ahead of us or anything else. So, I'm not upset that I got into it when I did at $80 a token. So I'm satisfied with that. I'm satisfied with the return. I'm going to keep on hydrating unless the price kind of goes upwards, and I might pull some out for just the to get some capital back in my Ledger wallet. I am looking at some other projects as well, and
so before you move
Yes.
off of the drip, so the name you said they combined with somebody else.
So they didn't combine. They got a partnership, and I just found out about it. I found out about it about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I have not listened to anything that that Forex Shark was talking about with it. But Pancake Swap is another is an exchange that
Interesting.
and they have a partnership with them, or they say they've had a partnership with them. So like I said, I have not had a chance to do any a deep dive on anything. I just heard the kind of the high level they've formed a partnership, and it was really good for drip, and the drip was starting to climb out of its hole. So that it was in. There is a team aspect of drip. I have not done it yet. I'm probably planning on doing it. And they call it a buddy code. So you have to have a special token for that that you get on the Pancake Swap with that as well. So I'm probably going to be looking at that in the next week. But does anybody have any questions about drip? I'll go ahead and before I move on to my next thing I'm looking into.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. The next thing I'm looking into is the Anchor protocol, and interestingly enough, side note, I guess, I've been using CoinMarketCap to do a lot of research on crypto projects, on coins, looking at exchanges, and they have a nice little trading view. Such a coincidence. I use TradingView. I have I've not tried to log into the I've got the desktop app for my computer. I haven't logged into it on the web page, but they have, you know, all the indicators are there that you can use with it if you are going to look at that. But the Anchor protocol is my next project or savings account, I guess, was what I'm going to call it, that I'm going to look into. It's a lending platform, and it's tied to the stablecoin USDT, as you can see in the pairing in TradingView, and it pays out about 19.5% a year. So my wife is a little bit less risk tolerant than I am, so 20% a year is extremely, in my mind, is extremely good. A lot better than you get at banks anyway.
That's the truth.
So it's tied to USD, which means it's tied to a stable coin, which means it doesn't have the high fluctuations that the Bitcoin or Ethereum have. So she wants to invest in that, and that's actually on the Luna blockchain. So we are in the process of figuring that out. That's my project on top of that. That's probably gonna be this weekend or next week. But actually, it's a linear borrowing protocol. Says it can give up to 19.5. The stuff that I've been researching on, the 19.5 has been true to that, and obviously, you know, nothing is set in stone. Stuff is not protected by the FDIC or anything else. So it's, you know, if it goes away or if it's something happens, it's gone. It's not protected by the Fed. It's not that I think that anything is protected by the Fed these days. So anyway, this is what we're looking at doing probably this weekend or first of next week is launching an account in Anchor protocol. And I'm probably gonna, I bought 3 hardware wallets through 3 Ledger wallets, and I've got one for me, I got one for my wife, and I think we're probably going to buy some more and give them out as Christmas gift for the kids or something that has some investment on it, and kind of get them involved in some of this stuff as well. But so we're going to start her off with $200 or $300 in the Anchor protocol, and I'm probably going to start off with $500. And my ultimate goal is to be able to pull some profits out of some of these projects and put it into a little more less risky accounts. They're still getting good returns, but they're not, you know, not getting 1% a day where it has a volatility and stuff that it's had for the last 2 weeks. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to go in and get into it, but it is on the Terra blockchain, the Terra Luna blockchain, which if you've anything about the Luna blockchain has been pretty strong the last couple weeks.
So like your Ledger wallet, I mean, just go buy that on Amazon or
Yes, you can. If you buy it from Ledger, you can actually go to ledger.com and buy it. And you can buy 3 of them for $400, or you can buy them one at a piece, one at a time, or you can buy one for $150, and you don't get the volume discount on Amazon. You have to go to their actually
Okay.
website to do that.
Oh, cool.
So
Good to know.
I bought ours through the directly from Ledger. So and there's a few different hard or cold wallets that you can buy, but I went through, and it's a little bit tricky getting Ledger set up, and there's a ton of YouTube videos on doing that. But it's once you do it a couple times, it's just like riding a bike.
Now I'll have to ask my brother what cold wallet he uses.
There's one called Trezor too that's pretty popular as well. So like I said, I've been extremely happy with CoinMarketCap and just their explanation of everything they have. So I'd implore you, if you're interested in it, that's a good place to do some research on it.
Cool.
So other projects I'm looking into that I haven't done a whole lot of research on are Comb Financial and Flux. I don't have anything. I've just on a high level, I've been listening to some YouTube videos, and I've not dove into them and done a lot of research on it. But I know Anchor has been one that I definitely will be doing something with Anchor here pretty quickly. The other ones might be a month out or so until I get some more cash in to play with some stuff. So my other, does anybody have any questions about Anchor or any other projects that they'd like to talk about? Questions about? Going once, going twice. All right. My next adventure is mining. My stepson bought a 6 GPU mining rig, which GPU is a graphics processor unit that gamers use. And I've been mining Ethereum, and I've been trying to figure that out with what I have. And he bought it and was messing with it, and his got into a little bit of trouble with his girlfriend on it. So I ended up buying it from him, and we're kind of working on it together as a team. But currently, I've got 2 GPUs on it, and they're NVIDIA RTX 3060s, and it's giving me a roughly about 59. You see down here the mega hash rate on those. When he gave it to me, he had a RX 580 8 gig GPU and a RX 580 4 gig GPU, and I was only getting about 35 to 40 mega hash. And I have not done anything with trying to get into the GPU to tweak them to get the mega hash rate up more. My goal is to, as part of my $100 a day or $200 a day, is able to mine. And right now I'm with the 6 GPU rig. I've been buying GPUs for the last week, and I've got enough to fill it up. I've got 3 RTX 3060s, and I've got 3 RX 580s that I think I should be able to get 300 mega hash out of them, and that would put me up at $8.69 a day is what I should be mining for that. So
what's your investment, your capital investment in the hardware?
So I've the rig itself, which is the CPU, and the 2 cards that he gave, is kind of complicated because I overpaid him for it, so he could get out of some trouble because I'm trying to be a good stepdad.
Gotcha.
So I ended up paying him about $1,000 for that, and then I've got about another $3,000 wrapped up in GPUs that have bought. And I'm gonna get the mining rig built out to 6. We're going to start building a 12 GPU rig probably next month. And my bigger picture on that is going to be, I want to take the 6 GPU rig, bench test everything, figure out what works best with what, and then move it over to the bigger rig, and then start to build out 12 GPU rigs that can mine different coins. They say that Ethereum is going to stop and go to proof of work, or proof of stake, I mean, later on this year. And I don't want to get crazy in buying GPUs, because I'm curious if we're going to have a crash in the GPU and hardware space while everybody's trying to figure out what to mine next besides Ethereum.
Interesting. So how does that, how, from an internet standpoint, how much of a bandwidth hog?
Not at all. So what I'm basically doing is I'm I've got just a batch file running on unmineable, and that's what this is here. And you can see here, it shows you device 3060 hash rate. It gives you the temperature of the rigs, effective watts that are there. But as far as bandwidth on the internet, it's not really that much. I haven't noticed anything with it. And it right now I've got it running on a wireless. It's running on Wi-Fi. It's not even hardwired in. But
Okay.
what I'm basically doing is I'm loaning my machine out to Unmineable to help other machines mine. And once I get more, everything in white is is the GPUs that I have now. So if I get 6 of them, 6 GPUs on there, you'll see 6 lines of GPUs, what they're pulling for hash rate, what devices they are, and whatnot. So my bigger picture for that is going to be to right now I'm mining Ethereum, but I'm getting paid in BNB, which is what I buy drip with. So
And so what's BNB?
BNB is it's the 3rd or 4th coin. Cryptocurrencies, trending, biggest gainers added.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
So it's number 4 on the, behind Tether and Ethereum and Bitcoin. So so one of my things I'm probably going to do is I'm going to try to get either some drip or look at another project. I'd like to have 4 or 5 different rigs that were 12 GPUs. One that would mine for BNB, one that would mine for Luna, or I think Tether. And that's Tether Luna is where you'd buy the Anchor protocol at, and probably one for Ethereum and then one for Flux. And I'd like to be able to do projects with those, as far as if I could mine the Tether Luna, I could use that profits and stick it into account for our granddaughter for school or whatever, and just let it grow over time, let it compound and stuff. So my goal for the rigs is not just to mine coins, or just not to mine for Bitcoin. I want to mine for mine and get paid in things that I can invest in projects. Excuse me. That I can mine in projects to make a cash flow income, instead of just hoping that we go on another bull run Bitcoin. I've got a few friends that are in in crypto, and they bought bought Bitcoin, they bought Ethereum, and they bought some other coins, and they have been just crying the last couple of months because of the bear market that we're in. So I'm trying to be more concerned about the cash flow aspect than I'm about the overall price of stuff. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've got thus far. Does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to discuss, or is anybody doing anything in crypto that they'd like to talk about?
I'm just still in the asking questions stage, obviously.
I am how do you want to, I learn better when I'm in something. And I was, of course, I made sure it was okay with my wife. If we took 1,000 and just popped it a drip and see what happened, and if it, if we lost it, we lost it. But if we, and it was a little interesting getting my wallet set up and then getting money transferred into the Binance exchange to buy the BNB, and you hear so many problems of people getting scammed and hacked into, and there was I was having problems at first. I just didn't have a setting set right on my Ledger wallet, but I was having a problem trying to get my money into Drip to buy, and so I was on a Drip's Telegram site, and they had scammers that were like, don't do the, don't call admin, or don't direct message admin until you try these steps, and you go to this site and it wants you to give your wallet passwords
Yeah,
up
right.
and whatnot,
Like,
and
do I look stupid?
and there are people that do that, and then they get their wallets cleaned out and whatnot. So it's a real deal, and the scammers are out there, and you just got to be kind of diligent with it. And I would say watch out who you trust and who you follow and what you do, and I would say go.
This is a lot like learning a new language.
It is a new language. It's no different than trading, right? I was my first in this. I was at my men's mastermind in Nashville last year about this time, and one of the guys said, "Yeah, I'm buying Ethereum and Bitcoin," and I pulled up my TradingView chart on my TradingView app on my phone and just typed in ETH, and it came up, and it was a pair, and I was like, "Well, you're just trading currencies," and he's like, "What does that mean?" I go, you're buying this stuff and you don't. I said, I'm not a currency trader, but I know enough when you're throwing pairs out there. I know what you're, and it amazes me how much these guys go off of the, what they find on YouTube, and it's, and the same guys are like, we're buying the dip, and it's just, it's.
Well, the thing is that a lot of people don't realize that there's, when you're taking one side, somebody else is taking the other side. It's
Exactly.
There's a person opposite or entity opposite of whatever you're doing, and you're working against them. And you can buy Bitcoin on the Kansas Turnpike at the service centers.
Right.
Walk up there with your credit card and buy Bitcoin. It's like, seriously, why would you do that?
Right. Well,
but because you're trading US dollars for Bitcoin is what you're doing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And and people don't realize that there's, that they're taking the opposite side of
something,
of something. Yeah. Now, when you get into mining it, you're not really, somebody has to be putting the there's processing power that's happening there.
Right.
And I suspect that companies are using that processing power to do other things. and they're using your systems to do these other things, and that's what you're getting paid for.
Right.
And so that's what your mining is doing. So as we look at this, what is this processing power actually being done, being used for? Who's using it? How's it being used? Is it being used for good, bad, or indifferent?
So
what is it actually being done for it?
right. So the quick answer, or the way that I understand it. So I mean, I'm still figuring this stuff out. So I don't know everything and don't claim to, but Unminable is who I'm using right now, and they're utilizing my processor to mine Ethereum, and they're building blockchain, and they're figuring out equations and stuff. And my machine is just another. They're I don't know. I would say
It's a
they're probably,
processor running in the background.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like a node.
it's
Yeah.
exactly a node. Yeah, and there's going to be times where I am at some point when Ethereum is not mineable anymore, when it goes to proof of stake, I'm going to be mining Flux, or I've got to figure that out, and that's when you're actually mining for the actual coin, and you're figuring equations out for the blockchain for that coin. And so right now I'm mining. You can look right here. I'm mining ET hash, which is Ethereum hash. You can go to ETC hash, which is Ethereum Classic. Random X is Raven coin. I'm not sure what KEWPOW is, but I know what these three are. So when this goes away, I'm that's what I think that there's going to be I'm guessing, it's you don't know what the market's going to do. You don't know what's going to be the next coin to mine, but I'm guessing there's going to be a crash in the hardware side of mining and stuff, and things will go back on sale. And I'll probably, my buddy that lives in Cincinnati that mines, I think he's got 8 RTX 3080s, which is on eBay. They're selling for $1,200 to $1,300 a pop. And I think he said he was getting about 1,000 mega hash out of those GPUs. So I don't know if those are paid for or not. I don't know what I don't know what he's done with that. But my goal is to collect GPUs. But once I'm rolling, I want to be very thrifty with what I buy. I'll make sure that I get a decent deal on what I buy and not overpay, and just wait for the stuff to happen. And I really want to have opportunity to find out more about the mining stuff, because it's another piece of the language puzzle of crypto, and how we put it together and what all we can mine. Is there there's a guy that I follow on YouTube called Your Friend Andy, and he's kind of quirky, but he's a fairly conservative guy, and he was mining Flux, the actual coin. He wasn't doing the ET hash. He was mining Flux, and he got a bunch of coins, and then Flux took off, and then he started staking them, and he started using them for nodes, and he turned I think he turned about $8,000 into $800,000 in about a year, and he just picked the right coin to mine, and then he started making them into nodes, and he's getting a pretty decent cash flow on top of that investment that he has. So
Interesting.
It's intriguing to me.
Yeah. So having never played with Forex, I know that there's an issue with the spreads and stuff. So I'm assuming that since this is basically, you're just doing a currency pair,
Right.
that you might have some issues with that as well. I'll have to get Aviator Steve to give us a lesson on that, since he's a Forex guy.
I've talked to him a little bit, but I'm not really, I'm buying it to hold it. So I'm not really trying to, to hold it for a short term or anything. The other piece of this puzzle is my stepson. He got involved in crypto trading bots, and he had no idea what they were, which trying to have a conversation with him about it. And he's in his mid to late 20s. And from what the quick overview I did is the trading bots are basically automated bots that are hitting the gaps of the pairs. And they're trying to make a profit on it. There's, obviously the literature says or the splash pages on the website, so you can make $1 million on them. He was up about $20 or so. He got out of it because once I started kind of telling him what it was, he kind of got glossy eyed. And it goes back to the crypto space is pumping out stuff that people have no idea, no education about, and they're just they're gambling is what it boils down to, in my opinion. So
yes,
it's there's a term called hodler that's hold on for dear life, that if you're if you're a Bitcoin guy and you bought Bitcoin at $67,000, you'd be holding on for dear life, even at 40 right now. So but it's just intriguing to me, the amount of people that are just hopping in just to hop in, just to say that they've done it. And it's that's what's going to cause the crash to happen when it does happen. And listen to people like Mark Cuban. He said, this reminds me of the internet days when there were a lot of awesome projects, but there are a lot of bust projects too that happened. There are a lot of things that went bust because people didn't know what they were doing. People didn't understand everything that was happening. And you gotta be careful with what you choose to do. So
kind of like VHS and beta, right?
right. Yeah.
Okay, how many people on here might not understand that?
I
So,
do.
do you want to, on a side note, and this is not very Christian at all, but the reason why VHS had the outcome that it did.
I'm sure it was porn.
Exactly. It was a porn industry doing everything on VHS, and that's why beta took a backseat and ended up going away. Unfortunately, but
Yeah, I remember the days of 4 tracks. That was before 8 tracks. It was music, but it wasn't stereo. It was 4 tracks.
Okay, Doug, I have never heard of that.
Look it up.
Yikes.
Was it the same? Was it the same?
They look identical to an 8 track.
Okay.
But it only had 1 channel. And the 8 tracks had 4 channels, but they were dual channels, so they were called 8 track.
Well, I still got an 8-track player at my mom's house that my dad had, so probably got some still 8 tracks as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a there's gonna be a lot of projects. There's gonna be a lot of projects in crypto that are not gonna make it. And there's already been quite a few projects that are have had rug pulls that people have scammed, and it's just you've got to do some research. You got to, I'm looking for some longevity in projects, and if they're, how long have they been around? How are there they have companies that will audit projects as well, just to see about their sustainability and whatnot, which is always great. But there's always those things that don't work out, and there's so you've got to, if you're making 1% a day, which I'm averaging probably 25% a month is what I figure this should be. That's you're not making 5% that's solid and as it's always going to be there. There's always an opportunity for it to go away. There's always an opportunity for something to happen, and just it just, your level of risk is there. So
Well, with inflation, there's always an opportunity for anything to go away.
I was talking to a guy about mining on Monday, and he's like, I just, I don't trust the crypto, and its hackability. And I know Ripper has some issues with that, but I just said, anything's hackable. When the US dollar goes to crypto, or when it goes to digital, it's going to be hackable too. It's
Yes.
it's not just, and it's, people get hacked today in their bank accounts. It's not it's just the world that we live in.
Well, I heard something last week that the government is going to start going to all their the SNAP and all that kind of stuff that they do they're going to start going to this to crypto on that and paying everybody in that. It's like,
they're going to do what now?
They're looking at going for like your Social Security and all that kind of stuff, paying it in cryptocurrency. That was one of the things that was announced last week from one of the Senate hearings, I think.
Interesting. Boy, I can't see some of the older relatives in my family
Yeah, how are people going to deal with that?
making
Well,
that switch.
here's the other aspect that that they have, if they can control everything digitally, are they going to be able to control what you are able to buy and what you can't buy?
That's it. That's what they want control of.
Right, and I agree. But when you
and they're going to say you can no longer purchase guns with this currency.
Right.
That's one of the things that they're afraid of.
They will never be able to do that with Bitcoin, just because it's decentralized. They'll be able to do it. It's when it becomes U.S. or UN or NATO as far as a currency, that's what they're going to clamp down what you can or cannot buy with it. If anybody wants a great podcast to listen to, I think he's on YouTube as well, but Robert Breedlove, that guy is a deep thinker, a Bitcoin advocate, cryptocurrency advocate. His show is called What is Money? And it is I went to St. Louis yesterday to do a service call from Kansas City, and so it's about a 4-hour drive, and I got through 3 episodes, and I had to stop because my brain was just so full of I had to process. I had to take some time to process what was being said between him and his guests and whatnot. But he's an extremely deep thinker, avid reader, and he obviously thinks the Federal Reserve Bank and the inflation and everything that's happening is just is theft. He thinks that taxation and inflation is theft. So, but anywho, I digress. That's all I've got for tonight. Does anybody have any questions or anything else you want to talk about? Or
thanks, Rich.
You're welcome.
Good.
I'm probably going to try to do this every couple weeks, just because my schedule and whatnot. I know I'm going to Nashville next Wednesday or next Thursday for 4 or 5 days for my men's mastermind group, but hoping I can get into some Anchor and Luna here in the next couple days and get the wife set up and go from there. So
Cool.
But if anybody has any topics they want to discuss or they want to talk about in crypto, I'm open to doing some research and discussing, having things on a more interactive level if anybody wants to. So
yeah,
feel free
you
for
can
that.
either if you want to, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just put some comments about what you'd like to see in the future in the chat.